Welcome everybody to the LinkedIn optimization workshop. So again, this is the fourth CX Exchange LinkedIn Success Circle event that we've had since January. We're going to offer today a live demo on enhancing profile and bio. Where some of the feedback that we've gotten from previous events is that they were more theoretical and kind of nebulous. And it would be really great if we could share more tactical best practices. So Meena and I and Kate and Mary Catherine spent a lot of time making sure to make this really, really beneficial to you and taking in that feedback. So this is all about how do you create a profile in LinkedIn, your bio that represents best who you are in the world of AI, right? We don't know, like there's so many things that we can use to color the words on the screen. So this is about how do you show your best self and be your authentic self, because nobody else is like you. So we want everybody to see who you're all about. So a little bit about me, if you don't know me already. I know I've met several people in the group already, but I've been in customer success for 20 years now. I'm currently the head of digital customer success at Omnissa, and really love being part of customer success. I love being able to help customers achieve what they need to achieve with the things that they're investing with the software that they're investing with. I'm in New Hampshire, so I'm on the East Coast. And with that, I'll let Meena introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Meenakshi. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I'm a program manager by profession, and about 8 months ago, I joined the CXS simply because I'm very passionate about customer experience and customer success and wanted to meet like-minded folks. And then I became part of the LinkedIn Success Group effort, and very excited to be hosting some events through them. Today is a very exciting event, and along with all of you, I look forward to hearing a lot of practical tips from Kate and Mary. Thank you.
Thanks, Meena. All right, so a little bit about our special guests, and then I'm going to hand it over to them, and they can tell us more about themselves. So Mary Catherine, I've actually worked with her at Autodesk, and she is a fabulous leader. I respect her immensely. She is the current vice president of customer success design at Autodesk. She specializes in go-to-market strategy. She's had over 20 years of experience driving innovation, and she has her master's degree from Yale and bachelor's from University of Georgia. And then Kate, who Mary Catherine actually introduced me to. So I'm super happy to have Kate here. She's the founder of Get Her Hired and helps women and allies secure executive roles by showcasing their unique impact and results. I am going to hand it right over because I cannot give these speakers enough credit on their own. So I will let them speak for themselves. So with that, I'm going to actually stop sharing, and I'm going to attempt to pin. First of all, I'm going to ask. So thank you, Kate and Mary Catherine, for joining us. Can you start by sharing a little bit more about yourselves? And Mary Catherine, you can go first, and then Kate.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us on, Emily. I'm really excited about the event today. As Emily said, we used to work together at Autodesk. I've been at Autodesk for 13 years now, mostly working in go-to-market roles across the channel, sales operations, and over the past 7 or 8 years in customer success. I lead our CS design practice, which is a strategy and design function within customer success. We have a customer experience function within my team, as well as bringing our success offerings to market. And I'm really, really passionate about go-to-market and customer success and the impact that can really make on our customers' lives at Autodesk. And I actually met Kate a couple years ago through a workshop where she was talking about how to really position yourself in the market, How do you, as a leader, really think about, how the story that you want to tell and how your digital profile can help enhance that story or detract from it if you don't do a good job on it. So I am excited to share today some of my journey, how I've approached really telling my story as a leader. And I'm going to hand over to Kate to introduce herself.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Mary Catherine. Thanks, Emily and Meena. It's great to be here with you all today. I'm calling in from St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm originally a Chicago girl, but I've been in St. Paul for about 20 years now and really enjoy it. It's much quieter and cleaner than Chicago. And if you've been to Chicago, you know what I mean. Mary Catherine and I worked together a few years ago on her story. At that time, as I recall, you were looking to do more speaking opportunities. You wanted to be seen as that thought leader. And this was back in 2022. It's actually June 2022. So it's almost exactly 3 years ago that we first met, Mary Catherine. And what I do, I write resumes. I basically see people, you're all in these little boxes right now, and it's really difficult sometimes for even geniuses like Mary Catherine to see the real beauty and strength and power of your story when it's your story. And so that's where working with a writer can really help you. And it really helped Mary Catherine at the time to pull out those pieces of her story that were really going to drive her to be more of a thought leader in customer experience. And I've got actually the discovery notes open from our initial phone call, Mary Catherine, where you really wanted, you were saying at the time, you're really happy in your current role. And you want to lean more into your work. And so it wasn't about moving on or changing jobs or anything. You wanted to have a better bio, a better LinkedIn profile so that you could lean more into your work and get more well known as an expert in your field. Is that right?
Yes. And since then, I can share some success stories since Kate had helped me update my resume. Because at the time, I was trying to get speaking engagements and be able to really be known more as a thought leader in the customer experience area. And since then, our customer experience practice at Autodesk has won awards. We've been featured as a case study in a book that came out. I get the opportunity to speak on podcasts and varying events talking about customer experience and the intersection of customer experience and customer success. And I really feel like that work I did with Kate helped me think about how I want to position my story in the way I can really bring the strength of my background to explaining to people what I do and that superpower. Because I've had a pretty diverse career trajectory. And so sometimes it can be hard to find that thing that you want to position in the world. But yeah, since then I've had some really cool experiences. And I think a lot of it was because of the work that I had done with Kate a couple of years ago.
So awesome. So next, I'm just kind of looking here through what we're working on. And I think Emily and Meena, I'm going to turn it back to you. I apologize. I'm like taking over leading the conversation here.
No, that's
Yes, and I
perfectly okay.
apologize. I was trying to pin people so that you didn't have all but I gave up. You talked a little bit about what inspired you, Mary Catherine, to focus on improving your digital brand. I'm just wondering, and Kate, you mentioned that the experience seemed typical, but can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, is this something that you've heard a lot, where cases like Mary Catherine's, where she's trying to improve how she appears in being able to do her work?
Oh, absolutely. I speak with people in different functional roles across the world, English speaking across the world. And when it comes to people that are in kind of that customer experience or that sales, anyone that has that window to the outside of the business. Of course, if we're in operations and we're working mostly with internal teams, we have to communicate very clearly too. But it becomes even more critical when your role is partially to make sure that the revenue is coming in, that we're making the things correctly for the customers, that the customers are able to succeed with the products we've created, et cetera, and that we're creating that environment. And so I think you can all probably very much relate to the fact that when you're in the space of customer success, you not only do the research about the customers, but you also have to think about how are they going to read this? How are they going to use this? How do we design ecosystem for them? And this is the same with our resumes and our career materials. And it's difficult sometimes because I have a feeling all of you are highly capable, highly competent experts in customer success. But when you think about who's going to read your resume, who's going to read your bio to pick you in order to be a speaker on a stage, it's kind of like thinking about that customer. How do you write it so the person, it matters to the person reading it, not to you, right? It's just like you can write all this technical engineering stuff internally and blah, 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 about how this works, but how does the customer understand it? And so the resume is the same. And so with Mary Catherine, you know, she's got an incredible background in science. She's like super cool. I don't know if you're not connected with her yet on LinkedIn, you have to be, because she's a very unique, cool person. And so if you've got a really diverse background, how do you really bring that forward to make it be a positive part of the story that really differentiates you from 1 in a billion other people on LinkedIn? There are a billion people on LinkedIn. So how do you tell that story so that the reader wants to read more about you?
Thank you, Kate. Mary, we're very excited to have you. Um, thought I'll ask you, what really has inspired you to focus on improving your digital brand? Was there a specific moment that triggered and then led to that kind of a transformation?
Yeah, I think for me, and I don't know if other folks feel this way, but it's really hard to talk about myself. I can almost feel like I'm like bright red, in case you can't tell on Zoom, when Kate's saying like, you should really get to know Mary Catherine. She's awesome. And it's really hard to like feel comfortable. You don't want to brag on LinkedIn. Like you don't want to feel like you've got like, oh, I'm, so hot. Like, how do you phrase that? But like, I knew I was doing a terrible job of representing like who I am and who I like, what kind of work I do. Like, why should people want to work with me or get to know me? Because it was just a chronology of all of my somewhat seemingly random jobs. And so I really needed to have someone who could be a thought partner to talk with me about like, what is it that are the unique values I bring? Like, what are some of my superpowers? Like, how do I talk about that? And then how do I put that into a narrative that someone could read, to Kate's point about thinking about your audience? Someone who's potentially I'm trying to hire, is thinking about joining my team. Someone who's a customer, someone who maybe like looking for speakers, thinking about those different audiences and how to really have a story that's on LinkedIn in my profile and bio that would make sense to them, that would be like compelling and easy to understand without it feeling like that resume of like, I did this job, this job, this job, just this job. Like you got to kind of think about like the storytelling aspect of it.
Hey,
Awesome.
do the outcomes that you're hearing, that you heard from Mary Catherine, resonate? Like, is that something that you hear quite a bit?
Oh, absolutely. I just this morning was working with someone, had a chief procurement officer, and he came to me initially with like 5 pages of information, and we got it down to 2 pages and really dialed in to his next role. And he saw the resume today and was just I choked up, like and I'm like, people don't often see themselves through other people's eyes, and like Mary Catherine said, it's kind of overwhelming, especially when we have that empathy. We're more highly emotionally intelligent, high empathy, high compassion, high humility usually goes along with that. And one of the things that we work to do is turn the fear of ego into a fact-finding mission, because when we are using facts, and Mary Catherine, we use facts in your materials, we're not bragging, we're not out there talking big about ourselves, we're simply sharing data. And that's what we do. And sometimes when you see it all in one place, people will say to me, is that me? Is that really me? And I'll say, one of my core rules is I do not make stuff up. No making stuff up. So it's all you. Yes.
I love that. So this kind of goes into our interactive portion of the session. I'm wondering if Mary Catherine would be able to share her LinkedIn with us and tell us more about what changes you made and what impact they had.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and do that. Okay, did that work? Can you see it?
Yes, looks great.
Yes.
All right. So a couple of things. One is that I worked with Kate on the title. And Kate will tell you I'm breaking a bunch of rules here, because this is not a hireable title. But for what I'm trying to do in terms of people who are going to want to work with me or talk to me about areas that I am an expert in, I really wanted to lean into talking about the work I do as a business designer and innovator. And my areas of expertise are go-to-market strategy, value management, and customer experience. And so working on that profile title was really important, because I can't remember what I had in there before, but it was really, really, really long. Like, I think for a while it was like super trendy to like write a whole sentence about, how you help the world and your LinkedIn profile. And Kate really helped me think through, like, how do I use that title, that profile header, as a way to kind of explain what I do and what I would talk about with people. So that's one thing. Then Kate really helped me also on my bio. So I'll just have this open. You guys can read it. I think what I had on here before was a bit more of a hodgepodge of the things I had done versus really trying to paint a picture of the value I bring, the unique perspective I have on the world, and what I can offer in terms of topics to talk about. I also like to have a little bit of fun. I will say, if you see the last sentence, it's a little bit more personal about me. Try to paint that picture for people. Although I have gotten some super annoying, like, cold call spam messages on LinkedIn from people being like, I see that you like rom-coms. Let's chat, because they're trying to sell me something. So I guess sometimes that can go a bit off, not what you're expecting. But I wanted to have a little bit in there that was more about me than just about some of my background. The feature section. So I have written a couple of articles on LinkedIn about my philosophy around, ways of working and operating rhythms, as well as go-to-market teams and strategies around service design for go-to-market teams. So bringing in some of those things in the featured section to talk about, really myself as a thought leader. And then we have a really cool Autodesk commercial that just came out, if you guys want to see it. I posted that on LinkedIn. And then in terms of experience, this section I could probably use some more work on. So Kate and the team can feel free to give me feedback. But I think we really want to do more demos with the rest of you to get some feedback on your LinkedIn. But what I try to do for the first one is really write it more from if an employee or someone was thinking about coming to join my team, giving them a sense of how I think about the team and what we work on. And then for the previous roles, focusing more on some of the highlights and previous experience. So yeah, that is my profile.
You know, you have a great point there, Mary Catherine, in the purpose, the reason you are using your profile right now is to be found as that thought leader, speaker, and employer, right? And so you're not leveraging it right now necessarily to find a new job. If you were, it would look a little different. So
Yep.
knowing the purpose, like what's the end goal of why you're using the tool will then basically inform you how to use the different sections. How many people here are looking for work right now? I know there's a few people I saw out there, they had their open to work green symbols on, and that's cool. So if you're looking for work right now, you would want to have your goal of your title, okay, in your headline. Mary Catherine doesn't have that because she wants to have people, finding her to talk about business design because she's a nerd about it. And we say nerd with a capital N and big heart emojis because she's so freaking cool at it. All right. And so based on if you're looking for a job, put the title out there of the job you're looking for. Make sure that's in the headline because you want the algorithm to find you when someone's looking for someone like you.
So, Mary, after all these changes, what kind of impact did it immediately show up, in terms of professional opportunities or visibility for what you were targeting?
Yeah, I would say it's more like a backup to networking, right? Like I'm not really using LinkedIn as like my sole source of networking, but when I go to events or conferences or I meet people, and then I, connect with them on LinkedIn afterwards, it's a way to kind of leave a lasting impression of reminding them of who I am and the kinds of things that I do. So because I'm not really looking for a job, I'm more looking for speaking opportunities. Like I've spoken on several podcasts. I've been able to have different kinds of speaking events. So that was really my goal with the update was to more position, opportunities to really share my knowledge with people. But I'm really using it more as when I meet someone, and then if they go look me up on LinkedIn, it just gives a little bit more information about me and some of the unique things that I do. Um, I saw there was a question in the chat about using first person versus third person. And maybe Kate's got a perspective on this. I wrote that bio in or I should say Kate wrote that bio in third person because it was really for like my speaking kit. And I kept it as third person in the profile because I wanted it to kind of directly translate into if someone was kind of looking at my profile and thinking about me as a speaker, like what would that bio say? So I don't know if that is standard or not, but that was kind of my thought process there.
I love that, Mary Catherine. That's a great point. And for those of you job seeking, using LinkedIn for that, first person is usually the way to go with it. Just because people like connecting with people and they want to make sure they've actually found the right person. But Mary Catherine is out there speaking, so that's why that's the third person there. Yeah.
And Kate, could you review a participant's profile live and show what a quick audit might reveal?
Ooh.
And
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Yes.
And for those interested, feel free to drop your LinkedIn profile and in the chat directly to Kate. And just so you understand, this is being recorded. So if you're not comfortable sharing your profile, just keep that in mind. And we appreciate all of your participation. So here we go.
All right. Who wants an examination? Rachel gets it. Rachel gets it. First early bird gets the worm here. Rachel, are you on view? Oh, you are on view. Hi, Rachel. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you.
Good. Well, it's great to see you. There's some other ones coming in. I will do, we're probably going to get through Rachel's today and other people. If Emily or Mina can share that list afterwards, I'll do a quick video review of yours and like send you a little recording of your profiles just to give you some immediate input because everyone needs this. As I go through this though with Rachel, I'm going to be asking her some specific questions. So Rachel, you're going to have to be on camera with me here. Okay. I'm going to be looking at your profile with you. I know, and thank you for being brave on this. This is sometimes a little bit nerve-wracking, right? And so the questions I'm asking Rachel, the places where I'm directing Rachel, notice this, take some notes. I'm a paper girl and I'm an AI girl, right? Like I use it all, but sometimes just taking some notes is helpful if you like. All right. So Rachel, tell us about you. What's going on in your life right now?
Sure. I have a decade of experience as a customer success manager, most recently as a senior CSM. And there was some restructuring at my company earlier this year. So I'm currently looking, ideally, I would love to get into a CS operations role. Those are out there. I'm applying to those, but they're a little less common right now than other CSM roles. So senior CSM, enterprise CSM. Location, I'm open to a variety of areas. I'm currently located in Ohio in the US, but I am open to moving to other states, even internationally.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Well, and how long have you been looking and what has some of your strategy been?
Sure. I've been looking for 5 months. And so I've been leaning into my network, not so much publicly on LinkedIn up to this point, but folks that I know in the industry, setting up some coffee chat, reaching out when I see that in a job, their connections to a position I'm applying to, looking for positions on LinkedIn and elsewhere.
Very good. Okay, great. So I'm just going to go top to bottom here. All right. And I'll ask some questions along the way. As we go through this, I want everyone to know that the 4 areas that the algorithm scrapes that are going to be most important for you, and I'm sure you've had this before, so I won't go into depth on this because there's so many videos out there, but it's going to take your headline. The algorithm is then going to scrape your about section. The algorithm then scrapes your experience section, and then it pulls from your skills section. Okay, so these are the 4 areas that the algorithm will weigh the heaviest when it's trying to return you in the search results. And there's lots of people out there that talk about how to optimize all of that. So I'm not going to go into detail here because what we're going to do first is just really take care of ensuring Rachel feels like she is shining on this page. She is undeniable. Hot damn, she is the next customer success operations leader that the next company needs to hire, 100%. So as we go down through here, the headline you've got here, you've got basically a transforming, you've got a verb, you've got customer success, what you do, and then functionally within customer success, what you like to work on, your operations, automation, and scalability, right? So this doesn't, though, tell me too much about you yet. So if I am a recruiter, I'm like, cool, this is great. What else? And so I'm going to go down to your about section. And when I get down here, ooh, look at you, Rachel. You full about section queen. Nice, nicely done. And the reason why I say that is because some people have very short about sections. You can have 2,600 characters. I say use them all. If you're getting pie, get ice cream, okay? Use all of the characters you can use in this section because it's basically putting more weight in your profile. So this looks really good so far. Something that I know a lot of people lead with are these jargon-filled this, okay? Like this, Rachel. Yeah, okay. Sorry,
agree.
not sorry. This down here, way cooler, okay? So you're kind of burying the lead. This is the really cool stuff about you that makes you stand out and differentiates you in the marketplace, right? You're a coach and you like to mentor others. You look at the unexplored gaps and find ways to fill them. You're the Excel wizard, although you may not want to highlight that if you don't. Do you want an individual contributor role or a leadership role, Rachel?
I've been pretty happy in an individual contributor role, but I'm open to what comes next.
Okay, because this screams to me individual contributor level, and that's fine if that's what you want. But if you don't want that, don't put this kind of stuff in here where it's like, I'm a great copy editor and Excel wizard, because then they'll be like, ooh, let's give her all the tasky tasks. Right? And like Mary Catherine as a leader would probably not have that in her about section because she does not want the tasky tasks. Okay, so just a few things about this. I'm gonna at this time, I'm gonna stop sharing your screen and I'm gonna start asking you some questions. And we're gonna come up with a little bit of a new story about you, Rachel. You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. So let me get a note. I'm gonna put this in the chat here too. So everyone can start answering this question themselves. Rachel, what kinds of problems do you solve?
Oh, one of the big ones is around processes, where there are gaps in processes, broken processes, just new ones. I've come into companies where I am one of, if not the first CSM hire. And so a lot of what I've done and done well is to build the processes and the documentation around that. That's a pretty big one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to redirect you, and I may do this a few times just because we're under the wire here.
Sure.
What is the problem when there's a gap or a broken process? What's the problem? Why is that a problem?
Things are getting missed. Customers are we're losing opportunities to give customers what they need to be more successful.
Okay. Missing opportunities to give customers what they need to be more successful. All right. My little pencil is writing as quickly as it can. Okay. That's an interesting statement instead of seasoned executive with 10 years of blah, 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 blah jargon. Okay. My next question for you. What kinds of impacts or outcomes do you make?
Sure. I have created a document. I saw, again, to where I've seen gaps. Internally, we needed something to track KPIs. So I made that. And then I continued to evolve that and created something that became the success plan that was used with all customers in the program.
Okay. And what was the impact of having that? Like, if you think about the before and the after, before they had the success plan and the KPIs, what was life like? And then, like, give me the makeover version. What was life like after when they had the success plan?
Sure. The big tracking number there was a 33% increase in customer time to value. That's a big one. We, as a team, were able to have more in-depth internal conversations about where customers were at risk and where they were succeeding. That led to better opportunities for our marketing team to build case studies and get testimonials, and for our sales teams to do referrals.
Dang. Are you interviewing right now, Rachel? Because those answers were like flow.
I have one tomorrow, fingers crossed.
Ooh, you are ready. You are ready. Nice job. Okay. So my first question was, what kinds of problems do you solve? And there could be more problems that she solves, all right, but we're going to keep it just tight right there for now. And my second question was, what kinds of impacts and outcomes do you create? And then my third question for you is, what kind of help do you provide? What kind of help do you provide, Rachel?
Sure. I have led teams in training them and mentoring them so that everybody is on the same team. When a team is working off the same playbooks and the same language, it helps all customers be more successful. Things aren't being missed. Customers are, meeting us at that shared language.
So you get everyone on the same page, including the customers.
Yes.
Okay. So if I may then, if I were going to, and Emily shared in the comments, I can see she uploaded a tool that I wanted everyone to have, because you need stuff right now. You don't need theoretical things that will help you in 3 months. You need stuff today. And so what Emily uploaded and what I'm about to walk Rachel through is, how do you talk about yourself in a way that is very much you and is about what you deliver, the problems you solve, how you show up. And it's not about anybody else. It's not about the AI words that you're trying to keyword match to get through the ATS. Blah, make me insane. Okay. So that script is out there. Emily just shared that. Please download that, save that, share it with all your best friends. Okay. It's our tits up script. Okay, just shoulders back. Gentlemen, you can just put your shoulders back. It's okay. It's okay. So what I heard you share, Rachel, is that you work to lead customers and teams to keep everyone on the same page so that you can increase value, improve internal conversations, develop better marketing opportunities, and you do this to ensure that things don't get missed, that opportunities are not getting missed. You're not missing opportunities to give customers what they need to be more successful. And so if we bring this down, and I just need 1 second to read this through and I'm going to come up with a little tight statement here. Okay. And it's going to be an I statement. And this is a contender. This is usually, Rachel, look, I've got all these disclaimers. You got to sleep on this. When Mary Catherine and I worked on it, we had a few weeks, we would sleep on it, think about it, get inspired. And so everybody, if you've been following along and writing down these things, sleep on this. Okay. And more will be revealed. It usually happens when I'm brushing my teeth. I'm like, oh, that's how I should say that. Right. So I lead teams that well, you want to be, I'm just going to say you're going to lead teams, because I don't want you to downplay yourself, Rachel. You're not settling for stuff. You're getting a leadership role. Okay. You're just going to do it because you like mentoring people. So let's not diminish where you need to go. So I lead teams to solve for the gaps that keep our company and customers from being their most successful. Okay, so I'll read that to you again. I lead teams to solve for the gaps that keep our company and our customers from being their most successful. How does that feel, Rachel?
That feels good.
Okay.
I
And we
think
could
that
take.
does it.
Go ahead.
Just going to say, I think that does a nice job of addressing both the CSM experience and also the operations goal.
Okay. Okay. And did we make up any data here? Did we tell something false? No, we used facts. Okay. And you could take the lead part out. You could say, I solve for the gaps that keep our customers and our company from being their most successful. If you didn't want I dislike moving someone away from leadership when we need more great leaders, smart leaders like you, Rachel. So there you go. That's what I would look at. And then from there, you're going to then redesign a little bit more within your profile to make this really stand out. So if you imagine then going back into your LinkedIn, Rachel, you might have up here, instead of this here, you might have customer success, operations, and leadership, something like that. And then you could have a statement like, solving for the gaps that keep our customers and companies from being the most successful. That could be up here. Then you could expand upon that down in here in your about section. Okay. So just like, I really like this stuff that you have down here, but it's buried. I have to read further. And let me keep going down within your activity. Okay, Rachel, your activity, comment on other people's posts. This is the easiest, best way for you to get a little bit more visibility on your profile. You don't have to write posts. Okay, everybody out there that's like, don't worry, you don't have to write a post. Just commenting on ones that are interesting to you in your field, because you haven't done much in a while. And then down in here, look at you, you've got all your data here. This is good. What I like to see is that it's kind of like, show me you're an expert without telling me you're an expert, and you've basically done that here. So you've shown me you're an expert. You don't have to say, I'm an expert in nurturing multi-million-dollar portfolios. No, you said you've nurtured a $2 million portfolio with 20 enterprise accounts, right? So you've shown us without having to tell us, really, in a way like, hey, I'm a big deal. No, we can see you're a big deal. You may want to develop these out further. So whatever's in your resume, you can pull this into here. Another thing you might do is go back through and adjust this so that you get credit for the consecutive years you had at Mind Matrix, for example, because right now it's broken it into 3 years and 2 years rather than 5 years. And so if you go in and you're going to see your little edit pencil up here, right? And then you'll put this underneath this one so that it's a promotion. You have to do it when you're in there. It's hard to explain it right now, but you would want credit for all of that. Let's see, your certifications, projects, volunteering. Okay, then you've got your skills here. When you think about what you do in customer success and what you want to do in the future, what do you believe are the 3 most important skills? And this is for everybody. When you're thinking about your next role, what are the 3 most important skills that you're seeing out in job descriptions, or that you know you need to have because you've seen other people have it? What do you think those are, Rachel?
Oh gosh. I'm seeing a transition now toward more ownership of customers. I guess that's not a keyword. Sorry, thinking through this in keywords. I would say, gosh, I guess I'm having a little stage fright here.
Oh, that's okay. So and it's okay. So here's what we're going to do. If you haven't yet used ChatGPT, we're just going to go out here for a second. See, I like pencils and I like ChatGPT. Okay, you can like both things. You can like vanilla and chocolate ice cream. It's okay. So here we go. And so tell me, what kinds of titles are you thinking about again? Just give me one specific one, Rachel.
Customer success operations.
Okay. So I'm just going to ask, what are the 10 most important competencies for someone in A? And everyone out there, you can do this too. Enter this in, whatever title you're aiming for. If you want a promotion, put in your boss's title, okay? And just say, this is what I want the competencies for, okay? So data analysis and insights. You don't have to agree with this, Rachel, and you could say, bullshit, whatever, this is up to you if this is right or not. But you can see tech stack management, process optimization. These first 3 feel, by the way. Accurate-ish?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay. And so you can see here, it gave us 10, right? And then you can just play from here. Now, one thing I would say is, if you haven't done project management, which I'm sure you have, Rachel, but like probably all of you have, because of the roles you're in, you have to do project management. But if there was something on here where you didn't have that skill, absolutely don't put it on your resume or LinkedIn, because you don't want to sit there in the interview tomorrow and they'll say, oh, tell us about your project management experience. And you're like, but ChatGPT told me to write it and I don't. So don't do that, right? But this is a great way using ChatGPT to figure out those skills. And then what I would say is you could take those and reorder your skills on your LinkedIn to make sure that those 3 are at the top. All right. Well, I know I've just chatted a whole bunch. Rachel, was that helpful?
Very much. Thank you, Kate.
Okay, good, good. And that's the kind of work that we like to do. And all of the questions I just led Rachel through are things you can work on with yourself, or if you've got a buddy that you're kind of doing some work with, ask each other these questions and see what you can come up with. It just takes a little creative thinking.
Thanks.
Great review, Kate. Thank you very much. I think it's a good segue actually to ask Mary Catherine. So we have a customer success leader here who is also a hiring manager, and we have a lot of folks in customer success that are looking for roles out there. So is there any advice that you would have, Mary Catherine, as a hiring manager about how we can represent ourselves as customer success professionals on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so a couple of things that I look for are data-driven business impact statements. So tell me a story about a problem you solved and like what was the result of the problem, but in a very succinct way. I also check for, because I'm getting a lot of resumes now where it's very obvious that someone used AI to like rewrite the upfront section of the resume to match the job description precisely. And I know that that's not true. Like no one has the exact resume of a particular job description. And so I'm looking for like, is someone being authentic? Are they sharing like who they are and like the value they're looking for in the role? And then is their LinkedIn profile matching what they have in their resume? Because I'm also seeing, because people are tailoring their resumes so much that when you go and look at their LinkedIn profile, it's like, is this the same person? So you just want to be careful about like there's a lot of power, and I know everyone's trying to get through the screeners, but once you get past the screener, you get to me as the hiring manager. These are the kinds of things I like want to make sure like, hey, is your resume really matching up with what you say that you've actually done on your LinkedIn? And then I personally never read cover letters, so maybe I should, but I don't. So like I can usually tell enough from a resume, hey, is this someone that kind of fits the profile of what we're looking for in this role? And usually when we're looking for hiring, we have those skills in mind, right? So when Kate was talking about top skills for a job, like I and my team know like what are the top skills that we're looking for. And so we're screening resumes to like say, hey, could this person do this job based on these top skills that we need to find? And so I think really thinking about how are you using skills and talking about skills in your resume and having those also show up on your LinkedIn really helps you stand out, right? Because each job is a bit unique in terms of like the things that we're looking for. And so being able to kind of make sure that your skills are a good match is something I would definitely pay attention to.
So it's not so much having the exact title on your, like the title that you're hiring for on your LinkedIn. It's more about the skills and the competencies that you're looking for.
Yeah. And to me, it's a red flag if if customer success manager is a pretty common job title, but some of the jobs on my team, because I lead a design team, are a bit unique. So if the resume headline matches the title of the job, I'm like, why are you writing that? Like, it's not, it's not about my job. It's about you. Like the whole point is about learning more about you in the interview process.
Helpful.
Interesting. Thank you, Mary and Kate. We'd like to take a couple of questions from the audience. So those of you interested, please feel free to unmute and or drop them in the chat. Thank you.
We did have a couple of questions come in while Kate and Mary Catherine were talking. So while people are putting things into chat, I'll just call one of them out. So Erica Lang was asking, LinkedIn has a cap of 100 skills but that including the number of skills make the profile look incredibly busy. How do you capture the necessary skills that you think the algorithm would be scraping for and avoid the bloat?
Okay, so there's two different things here. And thank you for the question. the point in, I want you to think about LinkedIn not as a viewing screen that someone's going to look at and think is beautiful. What we're designing for is the robot to find your profile. Therefore, please use all 100 skills in the skills section. And I believe that only the first 3 are going to show up unless you say click see more, and then, all the skills will show up. So don't worry about the visibility. Now, if you're talking about within a job, within like an experience section, you can attribute skills to a job. I would limit that to 10. Now, does that mean it's not, because the algorithm isn't scraping the skills necessarily from that section. It's scraping the skills from your overall skills section. Use all 100. There's a billion people on LinkedIn. Please do yourself a favor and just use all of the algorithm you can.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kate.
I think we might have time for a couple more questions.
I did have another. Are we it's okay to unmute, right? And just say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Erica.
Hello. Thanks, Kate, for answering the first one. I got a second one to bat you up for.
Let's go.
You've never formally held the title of customer success manager. How do you get around that? Should you still just state it? Do you use those exact terms, or you just kind of gesture in that direction?
So in your headline on your so the default that was there 10 years ago was your current title and your current company. How many of you have that default still out there? I don't think very many. You all seem like a younger crowd, so you probably don't have that still out there. But if you had a LinkedIn profile 10 years ago, it said your current title at your company name. Now, you are allowed to put 220 characters into the headline space. What I would say there is seeking customer success manager role, right? And then you can put in, I like to use this formula, the title you're looking for, aiming for, aspiring to, right? So seeking customer success manager role. And then you can use those tall pipes. And I would put in 3 of the key skills. So what we just learned from Rachel is you could put in the skill data analysis, tech stack management, and process optimization if you were looking for more of that operations type focus, right? And then you could put in another tall pipe, and then a little bit of a statement like we wrote about Rachel, that she solves for the gaps that keep our customers and companies from being their most successful. That's what I would put in your headline.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kate. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We have about 3
Thank
minutes
you.
left. I see that there was a bunch of questions in the chat, and I've taken a copy of all those. Kate and Mary Catherine, would it be okay if I put that like into a Google Doc and we get answers and I can send it to the Slack channel for the community? Would that
Absolutely.
work? Okay, I want to make sure we hit everything. And then as we close, is there any other thing, like any final thoughts that you want to share with the group before we close up? I'll start with Mary Catherine.
I would just say people do look at your LinkedIn profile, and so keep it up to date. Like if I see someone and they haven't posted anything or commented or anything or aren't, kind of engaged on the platform, I find that interesting. So, definitely don't, it's something people pay attention to.
And I would say I saw a number of questions about AI. And I would say this, use it, but make sure you're being yourself with it. So use it for research, use it for kind of framing some things up or prioritizing some information, but make sure it's in your own words so that when you get into the interview, they know they're actually talking to the same person they read about. And I have one more, I just can't help it, Emily and Mina. Facts over fear. So whenever you're afraid, go back to your fact set, okay? There's a set of facts about you, and they are telling the right story no matter what, and you don't need to fear it if it's a fact.
I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you
Awesome.
very much. Yeah. So as we close up, we have 1 minute left. Just thank you so much, Kate and Mary Catherine, for being here. You know, we spent a lot of time together getting ready and preparing for this session, and I really found it valuable. I learned a couple things. I think everyone else did too. So thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining. Please do that survey at the end. We take it very, very seriously, and we're coloring our strategies for next events based on your feedback. So make sure you fill that out. And with that, I want to wish everyone a good day.